Hey, this is Donna St. Louis. We're going to try this again. And I'm going to tell you right now Facebook, I'm determined. Now I'm just going to be stubborn about it because there is no reason that this technology should not work like 10 million times in a row. I'm now just stubborn. Now it's going to work. And I'm not giving Facebook any more money. I'm hot that it's not working. Okay. Hey.
Hello.
No, it's gonna work
Once,
this time because I have an attitude with Facebook now. About I'm gonna call Mark. I'm like, look, bro, we talked about this. You know, you're not gonna
you're
get the
making
tool.
billions already.
You,
You done
I
share my
mean,
data.
right?
you know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You're not gonna get your little nickname that you want, DJ MZ. You're not gonna get that. I'm not gonna call you
Right?
that. Anyway, we are gonna talk about this damn $1 million mansion retreat. We are going to.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
happening. Okay. All right,
Yes.
little hot
Yes.
style.
So if you're just joining us, people, well, we can apologize for the technical difficulties, but unfortunately, Facebook has been acting up today.
Ooh.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about this retreat. You've got to see this retreat. It's taking it to the next level. Just to retrack what we were talking about. The retreat came from the idea that Dawnna is saying, it's great going to a hotel and be able to, to parlay, if you will, or have a conference, but it takes it to another level, Dora. It takes it to another level when you're actually comfortable in a place where you can think, you can strategize, you can relax, and you can relate to the people
Right.
around you at a whole different level than you will when your guard's up, when you're reserved, when you're
Right.
dressed, and things of
Well,
that nature.
you're all. See, now
So
I was frozen. Okay.
no, no,
You're.
you're good. You're good. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna move to my phone real quick
Okay.
because
Don't
we
do
had
it.
a surge.
Don't
Huh?
change. Don't.
No, no, no. I'm
Don't.
not changing it. We had a surge the other day, and it knocked out half of our power. And
Oh, okay.
so FPL had to come put a makeshift power here. And today of all days, they're here to take that away and put the regular
You have
power.
to you have
So
to end as a guest on this one and then have her resend you the guest
Yeah,
link.
no,
yeah.
no, no. I'm gonna get on the Wi-Fi on here. That's all on the phone.
Okay.
So hold on
Hey,
one
John,
second.
how are you? So, just so you guys will know, Rudy and I have been avidly fighting with Facebook today because we've been trying to do this $1 million mansion retreat thing for a while. Continue without him. Every time we give it a shot, we start getting locked up for no reason at all. We just get locked up, and it keeps happening. And this is the third, fourth, 12th time that it happened. And what we're trying to talk about is the $1 million mansion retreat. And every time we get ready to start talking about the $1 million mansion retreat and give out the details on why it works, how it works, not kidding you, video freezes up every time. This is like our third or fourth time trying. But now it's at the point where I'm stubborn. Right now, I'm just like, no. Now I'm angry at Facebook. Now I have a call into Mark Zuckerberg. Now I'm just determined to make it happen no matter what. So now Rudy and I
Yes.
are on. I am stubborn. I'm fighting. I'm not gonna let this beat me. Microsoft had an update. I'm on all Apple, bro. I don't care about Microsoft. Anyway, so
we don't we we don't do Windows because they break, they crash.
a lot. I do not subscribe. And I listen. I was a Windows programmer. I have every Windows certification you could talk about. I
Started in
know.
DOS, baby.
Look, Mark
Started in
John is like,
DOS.
then talk fast, do it. Okay, we're gonna do this. Rudy was
Yes.
saying on the last one, he's like, the where the retreat came from was a big failure that Donna had, and then she said that.
Yes. So the way this retreat started was the notion that, listen, if you're gonna take your game to the next level in your business, you kind of have to change the way you do things. And I'm talking to
Exactly.
myself right now because doing the same thing over again, expecting different result is cray cray. All right. So my wonderful, amazing, fantabulous friend Dawnna St. Louis came up with the concept that with the amazing technology of Airbnb, we can now have our own mansion to be able to get together, strategize about business, and then be able to take our business to the next level. So, without further ado, Dawnna, take it away.
Okay.
Tell us about this mansion.
I'm gonna show.
I'm
gonna show you the mansion. So the mansion.
Yes.
So we get mansions now. I'll tell you, we do two things. We do them either internationally, historically, or we do them in Orlando. And the reason that we do them that way is Orlando gives me the biggest bang for the buck. Like I literally get game rooms and pools and all this other stuff. Plus, sometimes people who don't want to stay on site have the ability of staying in a hotel and then they can bring their family. But I will say for the most part of the between 10 and 12 entrepreneurs that we do bring, they don't bring, they might bring their spouse, but they don't bring their kids. So there you go. Right. John, tick, seriously. Anyway, so he's messing with me. So one of the things that we do when we do these retreats is we want to make sure that everyone has a king or queen size bed. Most people don't share a room. However, if you share a room, you do get a discount, and we don't allow more than 12 people. And it is, I mean, and when I say 12 people who bring their spouses is different. I mean, we don't allow more than 12 people, like business wise. Okay. So here, let me show you. And I was going to turn on my camera, but I'm so freaked out about it right now that I'm not going to. Let's see if it works.
I think your iPad is good. Yeah, there you go. You're good.
Okay. So here is an example of one of the locations that we use. This is probably my favorite location of all the locations that we use.
That's so gorgeous. Wow.
Right. And they like to show the pool, but I want to get you to the good part. So if you'll notice, this table right here has seating for, I think it's 14 people. Right.
Wow.
No one gets a twin, John. Then we have areas like this. Back to the pool. And that was an outdoor area. And then, this is where we kind of sit around and people chit chat here. This dining room table over here seats 24. We don't use 24, but there's our kitchen. I'm jealous. I know, John. So this is one of the bedrooms. And by the way, this bedroom isn't better than any of the others. Like all the bedrooms are stellar.
Wow.
They're all stellar. And you can see so if someone shared a room, this is a room that they'd be sharing, We have a couple of people that share, but for the most part, most of the rooms are solo. Unless, of course, we get over to the twin. So in that twin size room, we almost never use the twin size room unless we're going to scholarship someone. Mm-hmm. Right? But so that kind of gives you the idea. This is where we do our work part of our day.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and we play. So here we're going to get around to the play part. Let me take you there. Let me take you back. First, there's a billiard table. Just saying, I bring my pool game. Yes, we play cards. I do play spades and poker. Don't hate. And then we have a game room, which I'm not kidding you. We do play in the game room. In fact, you probably saw pictures from my last one where we were in the game room. And it's a legitimate game room. And then for those of you who think you're gonna work out while you're there, Rudy, here you go.
Yes.
There's for y'all who pretending that you're gonna work out.
Right? Take a picture, take a selfie on the
treadmill. Make sure you get some water and spritz yourself so it looked like you were sweating. Right? Just like, whoo, it was so hard today. Whatever. Right? So so it's a really nice location. We try to choose locations like this because one of the things that is important is that you got to get in the mindset, right? We want you to be thinking about being successful. We also want everyone to have their own spaces so they can separate and go to. Sometimes you just need to get away from people and you don't want to be in your room, right? If you count the outside spaces along with all the other spaces, that particular house has 18 different separate spaces. We only have 12 people. So, wow. So
plenty of space.
So you got places to go, and that's not even counting the property itself. The property is expansive and beautiful, and it even has a resort on it. So there are things for you to do, even if you don't want to stay on the property. The only thing I'll tell you about the property is that, there's no smoking. So if you're going to be, if you are a person who's a smoker, you have to go out to the street. That's one of the rules of most of the properties that we stay at.
Right. Right. That's awesome. So let's talk about the agenda there, because that's the exciting part. That's the good stuff. Yeah, the mansion's nice.
The mansion's
okay,
all right. It's all right. You know what I mean?
It's all right.
They could do the upgrade, but it's okay.
Agenda is what I'm looking forward to. So talk to us about a little bit about the agenda. What can we expect from your expertise, from the what you put together for this 4-day, 3-night event? What can people expect from that?
Right. So when we do our 4-day, 3-night, the first thing you have to know is how we split our days up. So people usually, oh, that's sweet what John said. He goes, he's not going this. He goes, the truth of why I'm not going this time is because Dawnna's advice has made my business so busy, which is so true, John.
Wow.
He is.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, yeah. He goes, she made me sit in a hot teepee when she taught me. Whatever. You didn't have to sit out there that long. Anyway,
that long.
That long. We gotta be that long. If you're misbehaved. Anyway, with the agenda, what we do is we start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then we usually go until about 1:30. We usually work through lunch, but the power of doing one of these, and it is the difference when you are in a conference area versus when you're in a retreat. Usually when you go to a conference, you are literally drinking from the fire hose. Like you're just like, it's just all coming in, and you don't.
Right.
And what they try to do in order to make you feel like you're getting value is they try to just stuff as much stuff in your head, in your mind, all day long. They just try to stuff it in there. And what you really want is you want the ability to learn something and do something with it. To learn something and do something with it. And that's what we do, right? So you learn a little bit about whatever we're doing. It could be your positioning, right? So we could be teaching you positioning, and then we're like, okay, so this is how you position, this is your positioning statement here, or or your expertise definition, or whatever that is. And then we'll say, so that's what you learned from 9 to 10 o'clock. Now you have from 10 to 11 to go and do the work on that. And then you come back, and from 11 to 12, we're going to, maybe from 11 to 11:30, we're going to review. And then from 11:30 to 12:30, we're teaching you something new. And then we will have a working lunch, which literally means you go, you take, have your lunch, you do your homework, and then maybe from, 1 o'clock while you're doing your homework, or even 1:30 until 2 o'clock, we're going to do a review. And then after that, you're on your own until probably around 7 o'clock. So when we say on your own, there is so much to do there. You can go golfing, you could go walking around, you can go do yoga, you can say, hey, I'm going to go get in the pool. You could do arts and crafts.
Right.
You could do, you could go in the teepee because you've been punished for all your little smart ass comments.
Right.
You could do, in other words, you have that afternoon to do what you want, and then we have dinner that evening. And then at dinner, if we didn't do the discussion from 1:30 to 2 o'clock, which we don't always do, you have time that whole day to get your homework done, because when we go to dinner, we usually try to have like a slightly working dinner where we're kind of talking about it. We're not going deep. From that 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, or 1:30 to 7 o'clock time frame, though, you can say, you know what, Dawnna, I need an hour with you. Or maybe we have someone there who's a marketing expert. While they're getting help with their business, they still have expertise. And maybe that's something that, you're like, hey, I'd really love to meet with you and just talk about marketing stuff. We've had people who've done business while they're there, or even come up with partnerships because they met someone that's really integral to their business. And so that's one of the powers of it. And so we have that type of agenda every day for 4 days. And then at night is when, so we go out to dinner, we come back, and all of this is included, by the way, in the cost. So we come to dinner, we go out to dinner, we come back, and then, we're doing stuff like playing Cards Against Humanity, or, where some people are in the game room, some people are playing spades, or that's when we really have a really, really good time.
Now, one of the things that I love about Biz on Fire that I took with you was the fact that, we're becoming a community of people that are, from all walks of life. And as we were discussing our different businesses on Biz on Fire, because of that community, we had other people that's able to chime in on, well, have you thought about this?
Yes.
Maybe about that. So that's one of the things I love about this concept coming into this mansion with millionaires, is just look, you have an opportunity, like you said, to get into business and to wet your feet with someone that otherwise you may never have met before.
Yeah, one of the most important things
Talk
we
to
talk
us
about is
about
being
that a little
in
bit.
the room.
Yeah.
Right? We always talk about being in the room. And so one of the things that we tell people all the time is how critical it is to be in the room and to make sure that you're getting in there and getting the knowledge. And I tell people all the time, I am a strategist. I recognize when a tactic is being applied erroneously to the strategy. That is my gift. But getting you to the point where you can apply the proper tactics, that's my job. Now, we have other people that are experts in marketing, that when you get to the marketing piece of your business, we have a person that's going to talk about that. When it gets to the sales portion of your business, and Rudy, you've met Michael. Michael does a full month when you're in Jumpstart, and that's not the retreat, but in Jumpstart just on sales. So we have people that go, I need an hour with you just to talk about sales. But I want you to imagine that from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock every day, or let's say 1 to 6, we've got to get ready for dinner. So 5 hours every day for 4 days. You have 20 hours to be able to go and connect with people and ask them as many questions as you want and get deep details without people trying to sell you something.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's important too, because as we're individually breaking down our businesses and stuff like that, we're able to, like I said, dive into, because it's only 12 people, you're able to dive in even more, as opposed to having a group of 1,000 people and you can't get to every question. So I love that.
Not get to every question. You don't have the benefit of having all these people drive information towards your business, right? So you don't have the ability when, it's rare that when you're in a group of 1,000 people that people are going to chime up in the middle of 1,000 and go, well, I'm a marketing expert. Well, I'm a sales expert, right? They don't even hear that you have a challenge or a frustration that you're trying to solve in your business. They don't get to hear any of that. You just are stuffed in a room with another 999 people listening to one person, one expert. It is a big difference while the expert might be guiding the information, to have all these other people that are 100% dedicated to your success. I want you to think about that one statement. You bring your challenge, and there are 12 people in that room 100% dedicated to helping you solve that challenge. In a room of 1,000 people, there is no one dedicated to solving your challenge except for you.
Right. Now, what about excuse me, who's the perfect candidate for this? Who do you choose?
Hold on 1 second, John. I know you have something to show us, but I can't bring you on without kicking Rudy off. So you might want to. You have to put it in comments. But go ahead, Rudy.
Who's the perfect candidate for it? Who's the right fit? In other words, because I know, there's gonna be 100 people that want to apply, but you could only pick 12 disciples. So who's the perfect fit for you for this? So
the people that we most likely are going to use, number one, are people who have some level. So it's according to what retreat they're coming to, because there are 3, right? The first retreat is what we call our mindset retreat. The mindset retreat is a mindset and mastermind retreat. It's for people who, it doesn't matter where you are in business, quite honestly. We do want to know that you have some level of expertise in business. And I'm really funky, so I literally interview everyone. I've had people who sent me money to be in a retreat, and I've just sent it back to them because it wasn't a fit. And I have no problem telling them it's not a fit. And it might have been a fit because of the energy that they were bringing was really negative. We don't have time for that. Like, seriously, you got to really bring an energy that says, I'm here for everyone. It's not the me show. So that's number one. So for the mindset retreat that we do, for the mindset and mastermind retreat, that one is that's not as intense. It is one where you do bring your business challenges and we do help you, but it's really for people to get in the mindset of being an entrepreneur and getting, maybe they don't know why they're stuck. They just know they're stuck. They don't necessarily know what problem that they want to solve, but they know they want to solve something. And it's also for people who go, Dawnna, I just need to get the hell away. As entrepreneurs, we have a habit of sitting at our desk for 16 hours a day. We talk about work, but we sit at our desk more than anyone else. And so that's one of the, it's something that we're all guilty of. So that's one of the reasons why we have this retreat. And so we try to do these. When we do these, we really try to go, put your phone down at the table. We have very specific times where we ask people to check their phones. Otherwise, we put the phones away. We tell people don't cheat, be on your laptop on Facebook, like literally be present in the moment where we are and have these conversations here. So that's the mindset retreat. I will tell you, of all the retreats I tell people to start off with, I'm like, start with the mindset retreat because it will change the game for you. I don't care if you get nothing else out of it other than you got to relax. That's what you need. That's what people come in with an intention, and I will be honest, they always leave with what they need. Always.
Right. And I think for us entrepreneurs, you know, I was saying earlier that, you know, there's so much going on from work to home to, you know, to dealing with clients and dealing with deadlines and this and that and the other. I know for me as an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur for 18 years, it's been great, but it's like there comes a time when I need to be like, okay, I need to sit down, I need to strategize, I need to think about where I've been, where I am, where I'm going. And to be able to get away and do that with a room full of people with the same mindset, I think is awesome. I think it really is awesome.
And so you have your mindset retreat, and then the second one we have is what we call it a mindset and mastermind, right? So at the mindset and mastermind, literally when you show up and you just give us an introduction of your business, and you share one piece of expertise that you have that you can share with the group. And so we talk about your business, and then we ask you, so what is your number one frustration with your business? If you have a business within the past year, because some people come and they don't have a business, they literally have a job, but they want to talk about their frustration with their boss. They want to talk about whatever it is. Our goal is to help you eradicate that frustration before you leave. It has been a life changer and game changer for many. Then the next one we have is the goal setter, goal getter retreat. The goal setter retreat is where you bring wherever you were in the past year. We look at where you were and we look at where you want to be, and we help you set your goals along with what you're going to be doing every week for the next 40 weeks. Notice I didn't say 52.
Right.
Because entrepreneurs, honestly, you have like 3 months of just building, right? So we talk about 40 weeks. What are you going to be doing for the next 40 weeks to get those goals? And we help you figure out how to measure it and everything, and then we give you an accountability partner. So the goal getter, goal setter retreats are absolutely amazing for what you were talking about. How do I strategize the next level? How do I get there? And how do I put the goals together to get there? And then the last one that we have is so we have our, and then the last one is the Jumpstart Retreat. And the Jumpstart Retreat is really for people who at the end of the day, they've done all the work to get their business up and running, and now we're going to launch. And so we call that even the luxury launch pad. It's where they launch their business. So we have very specific things that people do at our different retreats. So the one that I'm doing, the shortest one that we do is a 2-day. And so we're doing a 2-day, 2-night in London, specifically in Leeds. So we're doing a 2-day, 2-night in England in Leeds. And it is, and it's a mini retreat. It's only for a couple of days, and it's 1,500 pounds, which I think is $2,200 American. So that's our smallest, shortest retreat, and it is just it's a mindset and mastermind retreat.
Right. And then the next one is when?
That one's coming up September 14th through the 17th, and that one's going to be in Leeds. So, and again, it's all inclusive.
And the next one?
And then the one after that is in October, but I don't have the exact date. The one after that is in October, and that's a mindset and goal getter retreat, believe it or not. We rarely mix them. Every now and then we do. This one is a mindset and goal getter retreat, and people love the fact that we're mixing this one. I've been requested by a lot of people to mix them because they like the whole because they want to set their goals, but they want to do a mastermind first so that they can identify the goals that they want to reach. So I thought that was kind of a cool change. So we're going to do the mastermind for the first day, and then we're going to do the goal getting and goal setting for the remainder, which I think is really, really cool. I like when people tell me their ideas, and I'm like, let's do it, you know? So that's the one we do. And I love that because it really gets people like, you know, I'm all about that 10x ROI. So quite honestly, when people spend $5,000 to come to a retreat, they can count back and go, oh my God, this retreat made me 50 grand. And that's what we want.
Right. Right. So tell us, finally, tell us some of the testimonials that you've gotten from people who've been to the retreat, you know, the stuff they come back telling you maybe from a couple of months afterwards to like 6 months afterwards. You know, what are some of the feedbacks that you're getting from
You know,
them?
I think that's what John wanted to do. John was probably going to show some checks, because hey, Jessica, because
Where's the money?
right, well, because the people that I work with, you know, everybody kind of accuses me of saying, you know, Don only works with rich people, and that's absolutely not true. I've had people that have taken out loans to come to a retreat, and then especially if I know someone's made that kind of commitment, I follow up, and I don't just follow up. I'm
Right.
Let's make sure you're doing the things that you need to do to get that money back. Plus, like, I'm really big on that.
Right.
So
Right.
I can tell you, for example, see, there's John. I knew so John, you need to type something so people will know. So I'll use John. John says, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, John would tell you that he was probably doing about $30,000 a year, and now he does somewhere in the mid six figures in his business. Yes, I make rich people. I do. Jeff Jeff Ram, when we worked together 5 years ago, he was speaking, but he did not have a successful speaking business like he wanted, and now he's getting ready to main stage at NSA. He just did $1 Million Roundtable, and jokingly yesterday he was driving a Porsche, and well, he wasn't jokingly driving a Porsche. He was actually driving a Porsche, and he's in London. So I work with people from or England. I always get it wrong, but I work with people from all over the world who, whenever the jumpstart people, they start. Hey John, I'm gonna bring you on because I lost Rudy. The jumpstart people. I can't bring you on because you're not. I can't bring you on. Anyway, the jumpstart people, we 100% want to make sure that they make their ROI, right? So, so for jumpstart people, there you go. I found Rudy. So for the Jumpstart people, the way we do that one, which is probably one of my favorite programs that I'm the most proud of, is that Jumpstart people come in, and we change our program now that it's a 9-month program, and it's a turnkey program. And so the program itself is $18,500. So it's about, people would say, $2,000 a month, except one of the things that we do in that program is that the last $5,000 you do not pay until you've earned $21,000 in business. In other words, you pay $18,000, but before you graduate, you make 21. We don't even collect the last 5 until you've made 21,000. Mm-hmm. So, and you can't graduate or come to the launch pad until you've made 21,000. So we're very serious about you making money from the program. I don't know anyone else on the planet that does that, because I am so serious about putting skin in the game and money where my mouth is. I want people to actually make money back. So the Jumpstart program that's the last one where people go to the launch pad, and the successes have been amazing. I mean, I have people, like I said, you'll go to my Facebook feed right now and you will see Jeff Ram literally saying, without me prompting him, it was actually a birthday present that he gave me, that he went and put on this this live stream in this group that I changed his business 5 years ago. I had no idea he was going to put it on there. Someone actually told me about it, and I saw it, and I'm not kidding you, I came to tears because I was like, oh my God. And I was just so proud of him. There is nothing that makes me happier than to be fulfilling my destiny, which is to help people have financial freedom and even be free of corporate colonization. Not everybody's made to have a job, but not everybody knows how to do it.
That's awesome. I think that
Hi Jeff, I was just talking about you.
Collectively, with all that you offer, Dawnna, I can't imagine somebody walking away not being able to not only get something for what you have, but really being a success model for you. Because at the end of the day, like you said, you don't want to just people just to be in the program and then, oh, I took this program and that program. Like, I want success stories. I want people to come out and say, look, this is where I was when I started the program, and this is where I am. And I'm proof of that. I mean, just being able to take Biz on Fire, which was the basic level that you could start with. I've in my mind already. I've already was able to literally zero in on what is it I want to do, how I want to achieve it. Where is it that I want to go, and it was all because of you. And also, I was able to.
The 6.
I gotta plug it in, people. I'm sorry. It's kind of backwards, but it says.
Wait, is mine backwards?
It's
Yeah.
yeah. It's both backwards. It's both backwards. Wait, actually, hold on. I think I can fix that. Boom. There you go.
Oh, there you go. You're a magician.
There you go. There you go.
I was just talking about. So Jeff just came. He just showed up. I was just talking about Jeff and his Porsche yesterday. I was like, "Is that the Aston Martin you're in, sir?" He goes, "No, it's the Porsche." I'm like, "Oh, excuse." He just my business was good. Now it's incredible.
So in this book, this is definitely not your first book, right? This is you've had a few books.
Yes.
But this book,
entrepreneurs.
Right. Which I love. I love this cover. I love the size of this book as well. It's very, very easy. It's an easy read, in my opinion, and it's full of like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's not just a book, but it's a workbook as well, which I really appreciated about that. So yeah, you guys got to make sure you get out at Dawnna.com, DAWNNA.com.
Yep. Or
I don't know how you're able to get that website, but
or
that's
Biz
insane.
on Fire, which is biz-on-fire.com. That's where you find out about things like the retreats that we do and the pop-up class.
Okay.
Like we're getting ready to do a pop-up class on July 13th and July 14th. So the one on July 13th. So we're going to do this all live, and I had so many people going, "Can you please do it live? That's cool. But can you also do like a Zoom and all this other stuff?" So I'm like, okay, so we're gonna do a Zoom as well for people who can't be there, and we're gonna record it for people who can't be there, because a lot of people want to know how they take their keynote speeches. If they're speakers, how do they take their keynote speeches and get more referrals? I mean, I did a video yesterday where I showed people that these 3 pieces of paper right here equal $64,000 in business. And that was within 30 days, not even 30 days after I gave a speech, right? So what is the formula that you need to have in order to turn your speech into, into money? I mean, literally a $14,000 speech, that's what they paid me. And I took that speech and I turned it into $64,000 worth of business. And the dates were, I did the speech on like the 20th or the 19th. And the dates are 4/25, 4/26, and 5/8, where I closed $64,000. That's what, 2-3 weeks from the 20th. Your speech is delivering that type of return for you. You should be getting those referrals. Starbucks is one of these clients, and I mean, not even kidding you. I think I have it covered, his name covered, but this is Starbucks. Right. So that's what we're talking about, closing business and getting those referrals from people so you can make more money. So that, my whole thing is financial freedom from corporate colonization. You can be your own boss and you can make a lot of money doing it, and it does not have to be a struggle. You first have to be willing to make the investment. You then have to change your mind. Well, you first have to change your mind about your own ability to be successful. Then you have to be willing to make the investment in yourself. But you also have to surround yourself around people who, you've been told they stick with you. Here it is 5 years later. There is no one more excited than I am. Jeff happens to be getting to the airport at 3:25 on Friday. My plane happens to be getting in at 3:30. There is going to be no one more excited to see him when he gets out of freaking immigration. Is it immigration? What do they call it? Not immigration.
Customs.
Customs, yeah, yeah, immigration, because we're building a wall here. So, so no one's gonna be more excited than I am to see him come out of customs. Like, he is my brother. I cannot wait to see him. This is 5 years later. I do not abandon anyone that I've ever worked with, because I'm always talking about, so how do we get you that next level of success, right? I'm always
Right.
talking about that, and
And
John.
and one of the things I want to say to people who are listening about Dawnna is, even the first time that my wife and I met her on a phone call. I mean, we were on the phone for, I kid you not, for an hour and a half. I have that conversation recorded on just her giving me advice, and just, not like, okay, I'm gonna charge you for this advice, and you gotta buy my book and come to my program. It wasn't even like that. It was just a conversation between two people, between someone who I esteemed as where I want to be, and just to have just a basic conversation showed me that she really genuinely cares about people's success.
I do.
And it's amazing to have that, because you don't find that everywhere.
Okay, so listen, this is what a lot of people don't know about me. Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you why this is a little selfish and self-serving. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I've never done a drug in my entire life. No, I've never even smoked weed. I've had a cigar, but I don't, I really don't do anything. My juice is seriously getting other people to the next level. Like, I get crazy hype. Here's the funny thing. So I closed this deal with Starbucks, right? And I'm excited about it. And I've probably talked about that once or twice. But I've probably talked about Jeff being on the main stage at NSA 1,000 times. I probably talk about John
Right.
closing that next deal as a writing coach and ghostwriter 1,000 times. So my own success is like, okay, yeah, I did it. But to be able to help someone else be free, I kind of always say, I'm like the Harriet Tubman of corporate colonization. Like, I want to help y'all get free, right? So
Right.
so I really get excited, truly excited. It is my vice. It is my drug. And the hardest thing that I have, the thing I have the hardest time with, and I'm not gonna lie, and people always like, well, what is your challenge? My biggest challenge is charging people for it.
Mm.
And that's the God's honest truth. And the reason I have such a hard time is because I have given my content away for free. And I've
She
given it
has.
I
She
have.
has.
And I've watched people not use it, and it frustrates me so,
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And finally, someone said, your time is valuable, and there are thousands of people out there who really want your time, who really want your knowledge, and who want to do something with it. But they can't get to you because you're spending so much time with people who won't do anything with it. So you really have to charge, so that way you can start weeding out the people who won't do anything with your knowledge. And so that's why I charge. But I will tell you, it is one of the hardest things that I do. And that's why I'm always about, I tell you all the time, I don't want to charge you. That's why I want you to make this money back. And that's why I'm going to help you do it, because I need you to make this money back. Like, I
Right.
need you to. And I'm
Right.
so like serious about it. I'm like, what do you mean you haven't made that money back yet? Like, I lose it.
On
So,
building value.
yeah,
If you have a few minutes, I want to take some time to give people an opportunity to ask some questions.
absolutely.
People are still on the live. I know we've been up and down with this
I
live
know.
business, but if you're
Seriously.
still on the live and you want to ask some questions to Dawnna, now is the time. You're talking to a millionaire, people. You're talking to someone who's taking the time today. She didn't have to, but she's taking the time today to impress upon you that whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be able to take things to the next level. And by the way, one of the things that's brought me to even have this live is that I've realized in my life is that in order for you to go, anybody that that's been successful has had a coach, whether it's Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, or Mike Tyson. They all have had somebody to coach them through, although they were great in their own element in terms of their expertise, but they had to have somebody who was there for them to take them to the next level from a mindset standpoint. And Dawnna is the best at that, as far as I'm concerned. I'm biased to it, and I'm gonna tell you that she cares, and she really has, in my opinion, the tools that you need to be able to take your business to the next level. So if you have any questions, please post the questions right now. She's gonna answer the questions. One of the things I would like to ask you, give us 3 things from a business standpoint. Actually, I'm take that back. Give us give us 4 things. 2 things are the things that you see people do that makes them successful, and 2 things that you see people do that don't make them successful, kind of like a myth.
Absolutely.
Like, oh yeah, if I have more money I can do this or whatever. Like, what are those 2 things?
Okay, I'm gonna answer Jeff's question first, then I'll answer that one. So Jeff said,
Okay, go ahead.
"What's your biggest bucket list item?" This is so
Ooh.
good. Okay, so my biggest bucket list item. So I have a vision. And
Right.
normally your visions, by the way, you don't quantify them, right? Visions normally aren't quantified, but I have a vision to be the spark of $1 trillion into the economy. That's my vision. But what I'd really like to do is my ultimate vision is to have a Biz on Fire Academy that has coaches, mini Donnas, so to speak, right? Dominions. Um,
Dominions.
Dominions that literally go out and
I'm one of them.
right but that literally they go through the coaching program, they discover how to teach the six, they know their expertise, they teach other people how to be free from corporate colonization, they teach other people how to get financial freedom, and that there are literally coaches that I want a coach that knows the retail business, I want a coach that knows the restaurant business, I want a coach that knows just all the I how to be an IT consultant, for example. They know that business, so cold. But what they really recognize is that the 6 strategies work in, that the 6 strategies work, and if they can apply this framework to their expertise, they can literally move people from where they are to where they want to be. Like, that is my ultimate goal. Like, how do I make that happen? I want Biz on Fire to be the entrepreneurial academy of the world, quite honestly, of the universe. I want anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur to get their Biz on Fire certification, and that people already know that when they went through Biz on Fire, they walked out with a business that was up and running. 100% of our graduates will have earned their ROI. That's where we are right now. So that next level, that next step is literally having those coaches who will go out and they will coach the Biz on Fire strategy. That is like, that's it for me. That is what I want. I want people to be proud. They're like, you know what? Biz on Fire graduate. And people just go, oh, you clearly know your, like that, right? So Jeff says he'll give me more gigs in Europe. Of course, I'm coming there in September, so you better not be working.
That's a big bucket list.
That's what I want. But you know what? It's so funny because even though when I said that out of my mouth the first time, people looked at me like, okay, girl, you need to. And I'm like, no, really. And then I took it, and I not kid you, in front of my mastermind, I literally, because I have my own mastermind. In my mastermind, I literally drew it out, every step of it. I showed it to them. Like, I could see it as clearly as I'm seeing your face. And when I did that, everybody said, oh damn. And I'm like, yo, I'm talking about in 5 years to get my coaching. At the latest, I really think it's going to happen in 3. So Christine said, do you have, or are you planning on doing a podcast audiobook of the 6? Okay, so there's a girl that y'all probably see here right now. She just put bizonfire.com, Jessica Walker. She has, for the past like 3 months, been up my butt about doing a podcast. Like, she is like, no kidding, you need to do a podcast. And so I told Jessica, yes, we will figure out a way to do a podcast. You guys have got to know that the reason that I so have a loathing for podcasts is because I hate the way that everybody does them. I am not the come on and let me stroke your ego podcaster. I'm like, come on with your frustration, your problem, whatever needs to fix. Let's get that fixed. Let's move on. Who's the next person? That's the kind of podcast I want to do, because I'm really about helping people take action. So we just got to figure out how to do it. I have a hard time getting people that will like have the testicular fortitude to get up and actually ask me questions. Like, I don't know if it's that people think I'm going to make them feel stupid, which I'm not. I never do. I never have. That is never, like, been in my classes. I never, ever demean, degrade, or make people feel stupid at all. I'm like, dude, I was hungry. There's a shit ton of stuff I didn't know and still don't know. And I'll be the first one, and Rudy will tell you this, that I'll say, let's get input from the group, and then build upon that. Listen to her podcast, you
Right.
think, whatever, Jessica. So anyway, and I
Get
would
off the
tell
line.
she's right. She's right. I need to do one. I
Right.
need to do one. I know that. I am a person that if you can't tell me why, I'm like, why? Like 1,000 times, I'm like, why?
Right.
But
Right.
she
Right.
is, yes, a podcast is what I want it to be. This, you got to understand. She tells me, podcast is what you want it to be. You got to be blah, 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 blah. And she's right. But still, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So your question is, what are the two things that people do to make themselves successful, and what are the two things
Yeah.
people do to cause themselves to fail?
Right. Before you answer that, one question to add to that, not necessarily the same, but who does Dawnna look up to? Like, who's been your inspiration for what you do all this time? Like, who do you look up to? Who's your, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think
Okay.
that's something that
So
people want to know.
Because I'm such a complex individual. I have several. Okay, so I'm gonna lay it out, and people that I look up to don't necessarily mean I'm going to mimic them. It usually just means that I'm in awe
Right.
of what's done, and so
Right.
if I wanted feedback or whatever, I would go to them. So as a speaker, my total speaker crush is on Jeff Ram, the best speaker I've ever seen on the platform. I am including myself. Not kidding you. I am in awe of what he does on stage. In awe. And I cannot duplicate what he does. I don't even try because it would be a total hot mess. So from a speaker, Jeff Ram is the best speaker I've ever seen on stage. From just their ability to take words and make them sound so beautiful and paint a picture would be Maya Angelou. 100% love her.
Good
and
stuff.
then from a spirituality, like because I'm a very, very spiritual person, even though a lot of people don't even realize how spiritual I am. I'm super, I mean, I don't have like shrines or anything, and I'm not like doing like we stopped doing sacrifices like 2 weeks ago, but I'm a very, very spiritual person, and so I always go back to the Oxford Eight, and these are the people who really kind of looked at the beginnings of universal spirituality, and I was raised up in it. And so the person who is my spiritual guide and has been my spiritual guide is actually the woman who is the founder of the temple that I used to go to. Right. So those are kind of my people. I love the Elon Musks of the world because they take the chances that other people dare not take. I love him because he is actionable. Did that answer your question? Oh no, I think did we lose Rudy? Okay, no, I'm here. There you go. Okay, cool. Go ahead. So those are my people. Those are really my people. And I just have a coach.
And now you can answer those 4 questions.
Okay.
And anybody else, if you have a question, please post your questions before we close this podcast. Otherwise, you're not going to get a chance. Go ahead and post your questions. Go ahead.
All right. So your question was, what are the 2 things that people do to make themselves extremely successful, and what are the 2 things they do to make themselves fail? So I will tell you so I'll start with the failure one. The failure one is fear, right? And that fear actually manifests itself in many, many, many ways. First, it comes in the manifestation of disbelief. I meet people all the time who spend a significant amount of time poking holes into things happening. And that is just a form of fear. They can tell you the 800 reasons why something is going to fail, but not why it's going to be successful.
Right.
Now, one thing if you're doing that in order to build something and make it stronger, it's another thing if you're doing that in order to run away from it. So fear, because it manifests itself in so many different ways, the number one way that you'll see it manifest itself is in disbelief. I do not believe in myself. I do not believe in the product. I do not believe in that person. Even when people say, well, I don't believe that coach can help me. No, you don't believe that you can leverage the information the coach is getting. So fear manifests itself by blaming the other person for something that you aren't able to do. Right? So it's all of those things. That's the number one thing. And the second way that people find themselves failing is an indecision. Those are the top 2, fear and indecision. They will not make.
Nice.
And the reason that deciding is so hard is because of the Latin word. Decide actually means to kill the alternative. Like homicide is to kill a person. Suicide is to
Oh,
kill.
wow. I didn't know that.
Decide is actually to kill the alternative. D meaning alternative, the alternative, and side meaning to kill. So people have a hard time deciding because, quite honestly, they have a hard time killing something. And they believe that if they make a decision that they have killed all their other alternatives. So when people say, well, I can't decide on whether or not I should come to the retreat or not, what they're really saying is, I have a hard time taking $5,000 and putting it towards this because then it limits all the alternatives that I could use this $5,000 on, right? And so
Hmm.
that's what people are afraid of. So the two things is that they can't decide, and they're plagued and stopped by fear, and they don't even recognize it's fear, which is so sad because it does
Right.
manifest itself so many different ways, and you just
Right.
don't recognize it. But it really does hold
Hmm.
you back. The two ways that people find themselves to be very successful is actually just the opposite, right? Number one, people who are very successful make instant decisions and they don't
Hmm.
second guess. So if somebody asks me, Dawnna, do you want to go to lunch?
Not
Whatever
af-
my
they're
initial
not afraid of
decision,
failing.
right? Whatever my initial decision is the decision that I'm going to go with and I'm going to stick with. So when someone says, do you want to go to
Mhm.
lunch? And I say yes, I'm going to lunch no matter what. I'm going to that lunch. Like it's going to take like a broken leg or something for me not to be there because I made that decision. I went
Right.
with it. Now I'm going to tell you, by the way, a trick to get past some of these. And the second thing that people to be successful is they recognize that they are afraid. However, they move forward anyway. And
Anyway. Hmm.
they accept that they're afraid. They literally sit there and go, I'm afraid. This is scaring the crap out of me. I have no idea why it's scaring the crap out of me, but I'm going to do it anyway. In other words, they don't say I'm not afraid, which is crap. What they do is they increase their
Right.
courage. They accept that they're afraid and they still go forward. They do it anyway. I've had many
Mm.
conversations with
That's good.
Jessica where I have those what if moments, and then she'll say, "So what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm just saying I'm having a what if moment." Right? Like I own it. Like I'm human. I'm totally having a what if moment. I'm still gonna do it. It's probably gonna fail. Like I
Right.
said, my first retreat got 9 people when I had a room for 1,000. I got 9 people.
Right.
Who did I think I was? But but the thing is that fear of failure didn't let me stop. It made me go, okay, how can I turn this into something amazing? People say when you have lemons, make
Right.
lemonade. I'm like, no, don't make lemonades. Take the seeds and go and make yourself some trees. Like, like
Right.
seriously. Like let's turn
when
this
you
into
when you
something.
have apples, make yourself some iPhones.
Exactly. So how do you get past the indecision thing in 30 days? And this is literally a exercise that you can do. So when you have a challenge with not making a decision, then what you want to do is for the next 30 days, anytime someone asks you anything, whatever your gut instinct tells you in that moment, that is your response. Now, here's the second part of that. Try to make your response towards the positive.
Right.
If you
Right.
do that, you will find that you are a completely different person in 30 days because almost everything you initially say the answer to is yes, and then you stick to it. Everything.
Right.
Like there has to be a reason to say no. So the
Like
other
that
part,
Jim
like
Carrey movie.
oh my God, it's so funny because that is actually based on universal principles, but a lot of people don't know it. It
Right.
will change the game because now you are stuck in the world of visualizing a future of yes. So everything you're going to say for the next is like, you know what? I'll
Hmm.
figure it out. Yes. So you constantly start figuring out things. The other thing that you're going to see is that you start manifesting things in your future and getting to those things. All of a sudden, you're like, I don't even know how that happened. It just did. And where people think, oh, okay, Donna's woo woo and this and, crap or whatever. I had a friend who I told I was trying to explain universal principles to, and this was in December. And I said, by the end of the month, I'm going to close $25,000 in business. And he goes, how? You're going to make a bunch of calls? I'm like, I'm not going to make a bunch of calls. I'm not going to do anything. It's just going to happen. And he started laughing at me. And I said, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And it's not because I know it, it's because I feel it. And not kidding you, within a week, I had already closed $18,000 in business and I hadn't even picked up the phone. And so he was just like, I don't know how you do.
Wow.
And I said, because I had already determined that I was going to say yes to whatever opportunity came toward me. So if someone advertised something that was for me that caught my eye, I was going to say yes to it. And I did that and ended up making the money. And that's what I tell people. If you're watching this and you're like, damn, I kind of like her, or I connect with her, or whatever, there is a reason our paths cross out of the 7 billion people on the planet. Do not take that for granted. There is a reason. Most people take that for granted. So if you really want to be successful, make a decision and stick to it. And don't let fear stop you from moving forward. That's why you want to say yes to most things. So, Christine,
There
this
you
is your
go.
opportunity for anything.
Who?
Your
Who'd you
wife.
say?
Is her name
Oh,
Christine
got
or
you.
Kristen? Christine, right?
No, Christine, you said it right, but she asked a question
Yeah.
earlier.
No.
Oh,
She
did.
said this is my opportunity to get you to say yes to everything.
Oh, gotcha. You
Yeah.
got jokes.
Yeah, I got you, Christine.
I didn't hear what you said at first.
Yeah. She
Amen.
everything. Because remember, you sent me that text message last night? You're welcome. I said it.
Well, Dawnna, this was great, man. This was awesome. I know that a lot of people got value from it. I know I got personal value from it. I can't wait to connect with you again, the next phase of our business. And if anybody's out there listening, once again, make sure you go on biz-on-fire.com. You'll be able to see all the things that Dawnna is doing. Obviously, you can catch her on social media. It's DAWNNA St. Louis on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube,
Everything.
podcast coming soon, like the whole night. I got you, Jessica. I got you. So,
so you and Jessica work stuff
so
out.
be
I got
sure.
okay. And the other thing is, if people want to know anything, especially if they want to know about the retreat coming up in September in London, or the one coming up in Orlando, and I think it's in October, send me a private message. You're not going to see that on the website yet because we haven't put it up yet. We're going to open up registration for that when I come back from NSA July 18th. But notice that I said registration. So, and this is the mastermind one. So it's the mindset, mastermind, and goal getting. We generally do that one at the end of the year because we want you to be ready and prepared for the beginning of the year. And so if you really want your next year to be like, okay, this is what we do to make money, that's the one that I saw you, Jessica. That's the one that you want to get in on. So you really want to let me know about the one in October. If you're interested in the one in London, now the one in London it's literally just a mastermind retreat. It's not a mastermind and goal setting retreat. And I'll give you just a couple of ideas on the prices because I'm not one of those people who's scared to tell people how much stuff costs. If you don't stay on site and you don't want it to be all inclusive, it's $34.50. If you do want to be on site and you do want it to be all inclusive, except for obviously your plane ticket, it's I think $49.75. So that's the difference in price. One is a 4-day, 3-night, and then there's a day before and day after kind of the thing if you want to. And then there's the shorter one, which is in September. But let me know, like literally PM me, because if you PM me, I will put you on the list early and you will get first dibs because it really is only open to 12 people. You can, by the way, bring your spouse. We don't have children, but you can bring your spouse to these, so that your spouse doesn't pay. They're sharing a room with you, so your spouse doesn't pay extra.
Awesome.
Just so you'll know.
Well, thanks again, guys. Make sure you check out Dawnna. Once again, she is amazing. Make sure you catch her on Biz on Fire, catch her on Oprah, catch her on, on
Oprah's just trying to catch me, and I told her I am so busy. Like I just really don't have time to be coming hanging out feeling all the time. Shoot.
Dr. Phil, Steve Harvey, the whole nine.
Yeah, Steve is a Q, and he's
very thankful for the opportunity to ask these questions. Yes, Jessica, I got you. And look forward to hearing from you again.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Bye, everyone. Talk to you guys soon.